In the heart of Banana Island, Lagos, where the air smells like money and the ocean breeze whispers secrets, I found myself scrubbing floors in a mansion that looked like it was plucked from a fantasy. My name is Tenny, and just a few months ago, my biggest dream was to earn enough to send my younger sister to school. Now, I was a housemaid for one of Nigeria's youngest billionaires, a man so powerful his name alone opened doors. He was kind, often lost in his work, but always had a gentle word for me. His wife, however, she was a different story. Mrs. Adebayo moved through the mansion like a queen surveying her kingdom, her eyes always holding a glint of disdain for staff like me. She dripped in diamonds and designer clothes, but her smile never quite reached her eyes. I learned quickly to stay out of her way, to become invisible. My job was simple: clean, be quiet, and collect my salary. But in a house this big, secrets have a way of crawling out of the woodwork, and I was about to stumble upon one that would change everything. It started with small things: a lingering touch between Mrs. Adebayo and the family driver, Emeka, when she thought no one was looking. A shared glance that held more than just professional courtesy. Then came the late-night trips, always with Emeka driving, from which she'd return looking flushed and disheveled, long after her husband was asleep. I tried to mind my business. I really did. What happened between them was none of my concern. My focus was my sister's future, not the crumbling marriage of my employers. One afternoon, I was cleaning the master bedroom when I heard hushed, urgent voices coming from the walk-in closet. It was Mrs. Adebayo and Emeka. "He's getting suspicious," she hissed. He asked why the car's mileage was so high last week. Emeka's voice was low and reassuring. "Don't worry, my love. I told him we had to run errands for your charity gala. He bought it." A moment of silence passed, and then a sound that made my blood run cold, the distinct sound of a kiss. I held my breath, my heart pounding against my ribs. I knew then that I was in over my head. The next day, things took a terrifying turn. Mrs. Adebayo called me into the living room, her face a mask of cold fury. 2 security guards stood behind her. On the coffee table lay one of her diamond necklaces. "This was found in your room during a routine staff check," she said, her voice dripping with venom. "I can't believe we let a common thief into our home." My world stopped. I had never stolen a thing in my life. The necklace had been planted. I was sure of it. This was her way of getting rid of me, the witness she couldn't afford to have around. Tears streamed down my face as I pleaded my innocence. "Ma, I swear I didn't take it. I would never." But she just laughed, a cruel, sharp sound. "Take her to the police," she ordered the guards. Panic seized me. A police station in Lagos? For a poor girl accused by a billionaire's wife? My life would be over. I would be lost in the system, and my sister's dreams would die with mine. I had to think fast. What could I do? What proof did I have? And then it hit me: the cameras. Mr. Adebayo was a tech mogul, obsessed with security. The entire mansion was wired with state-of-the-art CCTV, a system so advanced he could monitor it from his phone anywhere in the world. I knew he had a blind spot in his trust for his wife, but technology doesn't lie. "Wait," I shouted, my voice trembling but firm. "Check the security footage from the master bedroom." "Please, sir, just check the cameras." I looked directly at one of the cameras on the ceiling, praying Mr. Adebayo was watching, as he sometimes did. Mrs. Adebayo's face went pale. For the first time, I saw a flicker of fear in her eyes. She tried to dismiss my plea. "Don't be ridiculous. We don't need to waste time with that. Her guilt is obvious." But it was too late. One of the security guards, a man named Femi who had always been fair, hesitated. He knew about the cameras too. Suddenly, the large television screen in the living room, which was connected to the security hub, flickered to life. On the screen was Mr. Adebayo's face, live from his office downtown. His expression was grim. "Play back the footage from my wife's closet, from yesterday afternoon," he commanded, his voice echoing through the silent room. As the video played, the entire sordid scene unfolded: Mrs. Adebayo and Emeka, their embrace, their kiss, their conversation about deceiving her husband. The room was heavy with a suffocating silence. Then, he switched the feed to the hallway outside my room from that morning. It clearly showed Mrs. Adebayo, not a cleaner, sneaking into my quarters and emerging a minute later. The evidence was irrefutable. She had framed me to cover her affair. Mrs. Adebayo collapsed onto the sofa, her mask of arrogance shattered, replaced by pure, unadulterated panic. Emeka, who had been called in, stood frozen by the door, his face ashen. Mr. Adebayo's voice cut through the air, cold as steel. "Get out of my house, both of you, now." He then turned his virtual gaze to me. The anger in his eyes softened, replaced by something I couldn't quite read: regret, perhaps, and a surprising amount of respect. "Tenny," he said, his voice softer, "I am so sorry you were put through this. You have shown more integrity than people I've known for years." In the weeks that followed, the mansion was quiet. The divorce was swift and messy, splashed across all the Lagos gossip blogs. Emeka was fired and vanished. I thought my life would go back to normal, that I would just continue scrubbing floors, but Mr. Adebayo had other plans. He called me into his study one evening. "Tenny," he began, "your courage and honesty saved me from a lifetime of deceit. It's a rare quality." He then made me an offer that left me speechless. He didn't just want to pay for my sister's education. He wanted to fund my own. He saw a sharpness in me, a potential that had been buried by poverty. He offered me a position as his personal assistant, to learn the ropes of his business empire. It was a dizzying, terrifying, exhilarating opportunity. I said yes. I threw myself into the work, learning about investments, technology, and corporate strategy. The man who was once my boss became my mentor. He guided me, challenged me, and celebrated my successes. The long hours we spent working together blurred the lines between employer and employee. We discovered a connection that went far beyond business, built on mutual respect and a shared understanding of betrayal and second chances. One rainy evening, as we stood on the balcony overlooking the lagoon, the same balcony I used to clean, he turned to me. The city lights twinkled below us, like a sea of scattered diamonds. "Tenny," he said, his voice quiet but intense, "you came into this house as a maid, but you've become so much more. You've become my most trusted confidant, my partner." He took my hand, his touch sending a jolt through me. "I know this is unconventional, but I can't imagine my life without you in it, and not just as my assistant." My heart, which had been through so much in this very house, swelled with an emotion I never thought I'd feel. Looking at him, I didn't see a billionaire. I saw a man with a good heart who had been hurt, a man who saw me for who I truly was. The journey had been a whirlwind, from a desperate girl fighting a false accusation to a woman standing on the cusp of a future she couldn't have imagined. I had entered this mansion to clean it, but in the end, I had helped cleanse a life of its lies and, in doing so, built a new one for myself. I, Tenny, the girl from the slums, was no longer just the housemaid. I was on my way to becoming the mistress of the mansion, not by title, but by turning my life around. And this was only the beginning. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you never miss an update. See you next time.